Hey, this is Phil from Race City Retro, and today we're going to talk about the 1960s and 1970s department store speed shop speed part wars. I'm sitting here with my 55 Chevy Hot Rod. Just put my new contingency decals on, so when I hit the streets, I'm going to let everyone know that Sears is where America shops for speed parts, and this baby is J.C. Penney AFX equipped. Now, you guys may be saying to yourselves, Phil, what the heck are you talking about? Have you gone crazy? No. Well, maybe a little. Well, in the late 60s and early 70s, muscle cars, gassers, hot rods, drag racing was exploding. It was everywhere. Every neighborhood had multiple speed shops. I can remember growing up on Long Island when I was a kid, we probably had a dozen speed shops just in our remote area. So the biggest department stores in the world, Sears, J.C. Penney, felt that they too had to get in on this speed part thing. Even going so far as J.C. Penney designing their own line of speed parts with foremost speed part equipment, and it's sold under the AFX name brand. That's right, J.C. Penney. Yes, that J.C. Penney. Well, back then actually they were called Pennies. They added the J.C. Penney name change probably in the mid 70s or so. They went from Pennies to J.C. Penney. Now both them and Sears, they both had automotive shops behind the stores where you can get the normal stuff: tires, batteries, oil change, tune-up, snow tires in the winter, depending on where you lived. But they said, man, that's not enough. We're going to sell speed parts. And I kid you not, I wanted to document this in this video and show you guys just how serious Sears and J.C. Penney were in the speed part industry in the late 60s, early 70s, trying to hit the market and hit it hard. J.C. Penney did an incredible amount of advertising in all the car magazines. I'll show you some ads. Plus catalogs that listed speed parts for every type of car imaginable, even listing rebuilt engines, 440 Mopars, 389 GTO engines. You could buy a remanufactured engine from Sears, from J.C. Penney. Today, let's take a look. I went back and got a couple catalogs to review all this stuff, and I'm going to go over some things with you guys. You're going to be quite impressed. And I'm going to show you a couple parts that I have, one from Sears, one from J.C. Penney, that will really blow you away as to how serious these guys were about selling speed parts to kids and others during the late 60s and early 70s. If you want to see some cool speed part history and see the names that were associated with Sears and J.C. Penney, such as Gas Ronda, Roger Penske, people like that had signature series parts through these stores. I'm going to take you on a ride back in time that you're going to dig. Stick around to the end of the video, and I'm going to show you my very own AFX J.C. Penney speed part, as well as something so cool from Sears. It's been on my shelf for years, and every time I look at it, I smile. It's that cool. So stick around till the end, and you'll see some cool real speed parts to prove that, yes, they really did exist, and I have the proof to show you. So grab a bowl of popcorn, and let's have a look at just how serious Sears and J.C. Penney were in the 1960s, 1970s speed part wars. Okay, let's start off with wheels. Now, J.C. Penney is saying wheels don't make the car, but they sure help. And they're showing an aluminum AFX brand, which is their wheel. If you notice the logo up on the top, it shows the slingshot, which is kind of strange, that AFX thing. Okay, AFX, that's an altered factory experimental. Generally, that's a sedan type car, like a Mopar with an altered wheelbase and a Hemi in it. So it's kind of weird to show a slingshot on that logo. But they're calling it their AFX racing team. They start off with the aluminum slot, which I love. And they also, underneath it, show the steel slot. They call it a steel dish wheel for $23.49. They're showing the El Tigre wheel. You can almost hear it growl, they say, which is kind of like a torque thrust ripoff. Then they have a track tamer wheel for $24.25, which is just like a dark charcoal El Tigre wheel. And of course, the old standby, the chrome reverse wheel, cheapest of the bunch at $15.49 each. And then they're giving you a set of 10 chrome lug nuts for $3.49. Man, what a deal. How cheap wheels were those days. And that was J.C. Penney's, or should I say Penney's, AFX Racing Team wheels. Okay, next up, Sears says, no, wait a minute, J.C. Penney, we're going to do you one better. We're going to sell Krager wheels. And not only do they sell the Krager SS, they sell the Krager two pretty rare wheels, the Grand Prix and the Grand Prix Plus, which are kind of like aluminum Krager SS's. One has a argent finish and one has a black finish. They also do the chrome steel slotted dish, which, man, I wish somebody would start remaking the steel slots. I have the aluminums that are going on the 55, but man, I love those steel slots. They don't show an aluminum slot, Sears doesn't, but they do have the chrome reverse, and they're a tick more. JCPenney's was $15.49 each. Sears are $15.95 each. And Sears also says their Krager wheels are NHRA approved. So Sears comes right back at JCPenney with a bunch of good wheels, but they are lacking that aluminum slot, just going with the chrome stamped steel slot, chrome plated. JCPenney also throws Sears a curveball, also under their AFX Racing Team. They say, hey, you can't afford mag wheels? We have some simulated mag style wheel covers. That's right, hubcaps JCPenney is selling for those who can't afford the mags. And these are kind of neat. If you look at them, they give them that mag wheel look, but at a lot less of a price. I don't know. The first round, I think I have to give the advantage to JCPenney. They had a couple extra things that Sears just didn't offer. Okay, where there's wheels, there's tires. And let's start with Sears. Sears is offering their super wide 70. Now, I looked through the entire catalog and I could not find anything wider than a 70, and this was a 1971 catalog, so it wasn't like Ray's white letter stuff was very new or hasn't come out as of yet, but that's all Sears was offering in this particular catalog was the Sears Super Wide 70 Ray's white letter Dynaglass tire. They're saying it gives any street pony the powerful stance it deserves, the glued to the road traction you want, and that's all Sears had to offer. Okay, so JCPenney says that's all you're offering, Sears, is a 70. You know what? We're going to go even wider. JCPenney's offering their Scat Track Street tires. And not only are they offering wider, they have 15-inch as well as 14-inch, and they go all the way up to an L60-15, which is a huge tire. That's like a 275 60-15 today. So that's a pretty big tire. They have the Scat Track Street tire, and they have the Scat Track FX tubeless black wall tire without the raised white letter, but I'm assuming it's a better compound. But back in 1970, there really wasn't very good compounds out there, but at least they're going a little wider. And both of these catalogs were in 1970, so 50s, you know, they were coming right around the corner with the custom van scene and all that good stuff. But as of 1970, 1971, neither of these were offering anything wider than a 60. But I'm going to have to give that advantage to Penney, JCPenney, because of this one next thing I found in their catalog as well. Look at this. There you have it. JCPenney Scat Track Slicks. That's right. There was a time you could have bought drag slicks from JCPenney's, and they say pennies right on the side of the tire. And what they're claiming is drag slicks, not for street use, designed for maximum traction during hard acceleration at the strip. Pretty cool, man. That's right. You can go buy a sweater and a pair of slicks while you're at JCPenney's. Hey, I'm going to have to give that round to JCPenney's also. A lot more cooler stuff than Sears was offering at the time. Well, I guess Sears wasn't about to take the slick thing lying down. They said JCPenney's is going to sell slicks. We're going to sell slicks too.
I found this ad as I was putting this video together for Sears with none other than Mickey Thompson himself. Now, this is the first of several hot rod racing drivers endorsements you're going to see on these parts in this video. So Sears has new Mickey Thompson Super Stock Slicks for sale. I did not see this in their catalog at the time, 1970, so this may have been during the 60s. The ad does look older than the ads that and the listings that were in the current 1970, 1971 catalog. So Sears may have done away with them by then. But at one time, yes, indeed, Sears did offer drag slicks, and they were endorsed by Mickey Thompson himself. When you think about it, this is probably the first example of a tire that had Mickey Thompson's name on the side of it, because this was the 60s. He didn't get into truck tires and street tires till later on in the 70s. So that probably is the first example of a tire with the name Mickey Thompson on the side of it. Okay, so let's go from on the car to in the car. Let's talk about some gauges. So Sears comes out swinging. They have the typical 10,000 RPM Sun Super Tack, which is crazy. Who needs a 10,000 RPM Sun Super Tack in the 60s and 70s? But it's the only Sun piece that they offer. They offer rack gauges, RAC rack gauges, both under the dash and tachometers, including a gas Ronda Signature Series tack. Man, have you ever ran one? Put in the comments if you've ever seen a gas Ronda Signature Series tack. If you don't know who Gas Ronda is, he's a famous 60s drag racer. I believe he got one of the first Ford Thunderbolts. Look him up. You'll see exactly who I'm talking about. But man, what a great Signature Series tack Sears offered there. But only the one Sun Super Tack, no other Sun gauges, which back around that time were probably one of the most popular gauges out there. So J.C. Penney's comes back swinging. And what they're doing is they're saying, you know what, we have our own AFX line of gauges, both a sweep type tack and a full sweep tack, plus AFX underdash wood grain gauges, a 2 or a 3 gauge set. And we're going to give you the Sun 8,000 RPM tack because they too felt a 10,000 RPM tack was ridiculous, but they sold it anyway. They had both the 8,000 and the 10,000. Plus, they said, we'll do you one better. We'll do a GTO-style hood tack. So, man, once again on the gauges, I mean, the Gas Ronda was cool, but I got to give the advantage to J.C. Penney with the cooler type stuff. Man, this is getting exhausting. Let's talk about exhaust. Sears has said, we have Hedman headers, and we got them for just about everything. We got the Hedman Hustlers. We got Pro Hustler racing headers for Hemis, for big blocks, for small blocks, starting as low as $34.99. So go to Sears to get your Hedman headers. So the J.C. Penney AFX racing team says you have Hedmans. We have Hedmans too, but we also have Mickey Thompson Super Scavenger headers. So I got to give that advantage to J.C. Penney once again. Sears says, okay, J.C. Penney, you got the Mickey Thompson headers, but we got the Scat Cat fiberglass pack mufflers, plus the Sears dual exhaust system conversion kit, plus the free flow dual exhaust system, premium dual exhaust sets for Corvairs, and the cherry on top, we've got sidewinders, side exhaust systems. Man, that is a cool looking pair of side pipes. Check out that Mach 1 with the shaker hood wearing them. Good job, Sears. Okay, so Penney says, we've got Lakewood bell housings. We've got Schaefer clutches that are AFX racing team approved. But Sears says, wait. We also have Schaefer high-performance clutches and flywheels. We also have Lakewood safety bell housing, but we also got the Lakewood transmission safety blanket. So that one goes to Sears. Sears says, whoa, we're Sears here. We've got fog lights. We've got under-dash switches. We've got the Surfer gas pedal. We've got hood pins. We've got Mallory coils. We've got GT fog lights. We've got foam steering wheels, hard steering wheels, metal flake steering wheels. We've got wood grain steering wheels. We've got shackles. You got to have shackles. Plus, we got a Nomex driver suit you can buy at Sears. A Nomex driver suit. And don't forget, when everything's all done, you're going to need that 8-track under the dash. Oh, we've got those too. We're Sears. Penney says, but do you have Mickey Thompson valve covers, the wing bolts, and air cleaners? And look at that one. You know what that is. If you know Motion Performance, that's a Fly's Eye air cleaner. That's the one that came on all Motion Performance Camaros. How cool is that? And that's at J.C. Penney's. Sears says, Mickey Thompson's cool, but we got Roger Penske himself. Only at Sears, Penske Performance Products, as well as Penske Diagnostic Tools. We've got Roger Penske shocks, which if you follow NASCAR or any type of racing nowadays, Penske shocks are the most sought-after shocks in racing. They also offered the Penske 5-piece high-performance ignition kit, a Roger Penske signature tachometer. Has anyone ever seen that? A Roger Penske signature tack. But wait, Roger Penske high-performance street grind camshaft kits and camshafts, both in hydraulics and solid lifters. So Penske was designing cams for Sears, maybe? Or maybe he was just putting his name on someone else's cams. I don't know. I mean, Roger Penske, I'd say he'd have a little input if he was putting his name on it. But how cool is that? Have you ever seen any of this Penske stuff? Isn't it amazing how when we dig into these two catalogs, you look at two department stores, what they were offering to the public? It's just incredible. And the names behind these products, you look at where they were then, they were famous then, but today they're legendary. Now, both sides did the common stuff, such as aluminum intake manifolds and Holley carburetors, because that was probably one of the first pieces that most guys swapped out on a day 2 muscle car. They both sold Holley carbs, Edelbrock manifolds, Wyand manifolds. I guess that was just, the go-to norm. They didn't make a big deal out of it, though, in these catalogs. But the one thing they did make a huge deal out of is shifters, 4-speed shifters. The shifter game was strong on both Sears and J.C. Penney. Now, Sears had just about every type of Hurst setup you can get. They had the Synchro-Lock shifter, the Competition Plus 4-speed. They had the Volkswagen short stick. They had the Mystery shifter. They even had the Auto Stick, which is the automatic shifter that looks like a 4-speed, plus a ton of accessories. They had Line Lock. They had the brushed aluminum T's, the white plastic H, the black plastic HT, all the boots, the boot with the red H, all the good stuff. Now, JCPenney also sold Hurst, and they had the accessories. They even had the Synchro-Lock, the dual pattern shifter with the reverse lockout on it, like in a Hurst Hemi Dart, that type of setup. But now JCPenney, with their AFX line, also had their own line of 4-speed shifters and 3-speed shifters. That's right. AFX JCPenney was making their own shifters. So that's pretty cool. They did a 3-speed conversion, a 4-speed, like for a Muncie and stuff like that, which Sears did not have. They were just like a dealer, I guess, for Hurst. So Sears had Hurst, but JCPenney had Hurst and AFX 4-speed shifters. That was probably the first modification most guys with a muscle car would do. If the car did not come with a Hurst, the factory shifters were horrible. They would take out that factory shifter and just put something better in the car so they can power shift without missing gears.
Okay, here is a piece I've had for years. This is a JCPenney AFX line competition shifter, and it's still in its original box. Let's take a look at the side of the box. Look, it's got the Penney's logo on the bottom right, because remember, like I had said earlier, before they were JCPenney, they were Penney's. And this is a 4-speed shifter for a Muncie. Let's have a look. And this, without a doubt, is going to go in my 55 Chevy. Ooh, so cool. Ain't that cool? I don't think it's a high quality piece. It looks fairly decent. The rods look pretty decent. Here's your up for grabs, our quickest shifter, AFX, high performance, pennies, always first quality. It guarantees you a new shifter against defects in workmanship and material for the period that each unit is retained in its original installation. So if I put this in a car in the 60s and I go to JCPenney's today, it's still covered. That would be cool. What I love about this shifter is the stick. If I don't use the shifter, I'm going to definitely use the stick. It's got a great shape to it. And look at that AFX logo. Pretty cool. Still got the handle on it and everything. I would have loved to have seen a AFX on the handle, but I guess they cheaped out. There you go. Ain't that cool? So that's my piece of JCPenney AFX line speed part history. Pretty cool. So, you know, they actually did make it. I called my local JCPenney and I asked if they had anything left in the basement, any old speed parts with an inch of dust I could come and get, and they laughed at me. So I guess they don't have any more speed parts left in the basement, but they did it one time, and here it is to prove it to you. Back in the 60s and 70s, the auto manufacturers did not feel the need to put accurate gauges in cars. They would put what was appropriately called idiot lights. So when that light came on, if it was the oil light, guess what, idiot? You just blew your engine. You didn't check your oil. You didn't change your oil. You have a leak. So I can remember as a kid, every car I ever owned had an oil pressure gauge under the dash, a single standalone unit just like this one. But this, what cracks me up, look at Sears with the scary stop guessing, warning lights are not enough. Put a gauge in your car. Is that great marketing or what? A bunch of guys in suits looking like madmen said, you know what? We really got to get our message across to sell these oil pressure gauges. And I think if you just scare people, they're going to buy one and put one under their dash. And it's the truth because, like I said, as a kid, every car I ever bought had a single oil pressure gauge hanging under the dash. If the guy had oil pressure and water temp, man, he was a high roller, that guy. Most everybody invested just in the single gauge. And if you had a car back then, same thing, put it down in the comments below. Tell me you are absolutely right. Or if you had the double gauge, I guess you had something better. But there's Sears. Seal gauges give you exact readings. Not that light and not that those line gauges where you're kind of in the neighborhood. So this is a cool piece. And like I said, this has been on my shelf. I must have bought this gauge 20 years ago. Pretty cool piece. And what's really neat, Sears Roebuck, made in the USA, provides exact readings you can trust, precision manufactured quality components, sealed against rust and moisture, complete, easy to follow installation instructions for all cars, trucks, tractors, and marine. Pretty cool, pretty nice piece. It still looks good after all these years. And I like on the needle, it's got a red. So if you're under 20 pounds, it's telling you, whoa, 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 you got a problem here, buddy. You got a problem. But that's kind of neat because, like I said, idiot lights, just when you had an oil pressure idiot light and it turned red, you had no oil pressure. And by then, the damage is done. Whereas this thing, you could watch it drop, or if you were low, the way cars used to burn and leak oil back then, if you saw you were getting 20 pounds, you knew, go check the oil, you're down a couple quarts. But that's a really cool piece. So we got JCPenney AFX and Sears over here. Not bad, right? Man, I want to thank you guys for going on this journey with me back in time, for letting me show you just how cool big department stores were back then. And Sears, I remember Sears as a kid, they said, where America shops. Yeah, it was true. You went to Sears for everything. If you needed pants, sneakers, if dad needed tools, if you needed something for your house, a refrigerator, a washer, dryer, Sears was always the first place to go. There was a time when Sears ruled the earth. When something went bad, you ran to Sears. And I mean, they had Allstate insurance. They had all the bases covered. So it's kind of neat that even though they had it all, they said, hey, we still need to sell some speed parts to these kids. And J.C. Penney, not being a huge automotive retailer, they did have shops at their stores. They had gas stations at their stores. But their real business was snow tires, brakes, oil changes, batteries. So to see them get into the speed parts too, they probably did it because Sears was doing it. So they probably said, hey, they're going to do it. We have to do it. We want to stay competitive with the big guy, you know. But thank you so much for watching this. And please check out our website, racecityretro.com. We've got more cool stuff. If you're a car guy and you need a gift, if you need, go to our website, man. We have almost 100 retro hot rod muscle car shirts. We've got license plates. We've got street signs, parking signs, decals, all kinds of crazy stuff, man. And you guys have been so good since we started doing our videos, man. We appreciate all the great comments and all the orders and the comments on the orders and the emails and the pictures. And you guys have just been amazing. And please make sure you subscribe to this channel. We're new here. We need subscribers. If you like this video, you're going to see more stuff like this. Please subscribe. Now, get out there. Go build something cool, man. Track down those AFX speed parts. Track down those old Sears speed parts or Sears auto parts and put them on something cool. Put them back where they belong. Thank you, guys. Take care.